around all the interwebs recently, we've been hearing about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which, if you go back, I didn't watch this show when it first came out. I had a friend, though, who was like, you have to watch Buffy. My friend Ben, R.I.P. Ben, love you, man. Ben was like, you got to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I was like, Buffy? Like CW Buffy. He's like, dude, just take a second, take a breath. Hold back, watch Buffy. So I watched it. We binged the whole show, all seasons of it, all 7. Of course, there is the comic series. I read that afterwards, season 8. I read all that too. And what they do with that in the comics is fantastic. The original series is amazing. But the hardest part for this show has been this. Sarah Michelle Gellar, who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She said there's no reason for Buffy ever to come back. I don't want to do this. Why would I do this? No. Now she's on Dexter, which I will still say, Dexter Original Sin, I'm not going to lie, I was a hater on a little bit. I love what they did for the first episode. It's interesting, it's different, but it also feels connected, right? He loved Buffy. It's connected back into the Dexter world in a way that I never thought they would do. It was what I hoped they would do, and they did it. I'm excited. But Sarah Michelle Gellar's on that, and she's like, there's a world for this, which I'm like, yeah, girl, there's a world for this. Never mind an episode of Buffy, right, Queen? And I love One More Time with Feeling. I love that musical episode too. It's so good. But I will say this. She came forward and said it. She goes, it's funny. I always used to say no because it used to be a bubble that was so perfect when it came to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But watching, Sex in the City and then seeing Dexter come back and realizing there are ways to do it definitely does get your mind to thinking, well, maybe. Well, that's not a yes 100% sure, but she said, no, it could be anything. She went into the whole detail about having new heroes coming in, her training people. The thing is, it took a long time for her to get here. And it could be her kids are grown up and she wants to get back to work. It could be her having this realization, being like, yes, dude, Dexter was good. Watch the first episode. Watch the fucking first episode. All you gotta say, friend the show. And I would say this, what she said was riveting in a lot of ways, because people want to hear, there's a big Buffy verse out there. Joss Whedon aside, he's problematic. Don't bring his ass back. Whatever happened with Trachtenberg on set, that's insane. They couldn't keep them on the same set together alone, or there could be problems because she was underage and he was creepy. We don't need that shit. But we can bring Buffy back in a way that would be fantastic. Season 8, the comic series was fantastic. I love this. And if you're a Buffy fan, there's hardcore base for this. I'm with you. I am screaming, yes. Let's slay some more bitches. Let's bring them all back. Xander's one eye. Bring them all back. Let's make it happen, because I would love to see what happens with the apocalypse and everything else moving forward. Buffy, please, I'm shouting at cruise control. Slay some more bitches. And Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar, keep looking sexy, hot, sophisticated, frothy, foamy, and hot to trot, right, Mike? But okay, so Mike, I'm gonna go to Mike because I know Mike loves Buffy. He's in my etherverse.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Buffy. Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think this is the best thing for Buffy fans out there? And do you think there is room to wiggle for Buffy in the future?
Is there room to wiggle for Buffy? What a great way to phrase that question, Brian.
Angel was great. Oh, wait, Kato. Angel was great.
What did you? I thought you had a trailer to play for us for a second there.
Oh, I wish I had a trailer for you.
Is that why you use the trailer voice, Mike? Is that why the trailer
That's
voice
why I went.
I'm gearing up the Buffy talk
mode.
It was great.
I don't know. It's hard in 2024. Like, Joss Whedon's name is attached to this. He's going to get money no matter what we do.
That's a guy?
What's that? Joss.
He's a pedophile.
He's a Joss.
allegedly.
Where are these comments from Sarah Michelle? No. This is okay. Allegedly, for legistical reasons, but also this has been repeated. This has been repeated all over Hollywood. Like, we know these things. What's the context of these comments from Sarah Michelle Gellar?
So she was doing an interview recently because they were talking about Dexter Original Sin. Mm-hmm. And they were saying, well, you're doing a prequel to Dexter, and you see the Dexter universe coming back after being gone for so long. And we did New Blood. They're doing Resurrection, comes out this summer in June. Of course, the continuation of the Dexter story. Like, what do you think about Buffy coming back? Does this change your mind at all? And she's like, yeah, actually it has. And she came into the whole thing saying, I didn't think I'd ever do this before. And she said no. She said it was a perfect bubble. That was her words. Perfect bubble. Never touch it again. The ending of season 7 was great. honestly, it was great. And the way they ended with Spike and her and how they fell in love.
Did Spike have his own show at some point?
He never had his own show, but Spike went to Angel, and he was on Angel, and that's when when he came over to Angel, I mean, he took over for one of the main roles there, and then some of the actors got fired because he became a pivotal part of that, which he made that show. I love David Boreanaz as Angel, but he's problematic sometimes behind the scenes. But like, I mean, I worked with them, man.
Expansive. It's ripe for expansion. Problematic is
perfect.
Obviously, things.
He's a shy motherfucker. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
You can never really dig into that 100% and know what the deal is. But like it sounds like Sarah Michelle Gellar is back for it. I don't know what that project would look like. Kind of is what I'm thinking of, because we are at that point that it's been 20 plus years since this was on the air. All the other stuff we're talking about, Karate Kid. Other stuff, like I think that we're at the point where people want to show their kids the stuff that they enjoyed when they were younger, and I totally feel Sarah Michelle Gellar saying like she didn't feel that way. Hi, Sarah. she didn't feel that way in the past, but she feels it now that maybe there's some kind of traction, or that it's not just a crass cash grab, which is maybe how she felt in the past, and I get that too. So I kind of could see this actually as a real thing moving forward. She's probably sick of just working the conventions too, anyway, right?
Train the new Slayer, man.
Really,
train the new Slayer. Have it come up to modern day. You train the new Slayer. You have her involved. In season 8, did you read the comic books? The season 8 comic book at all?
Not at all. No comic books. Most of the series, but not any of the comic books.
It delves into this whole universe where it's like, of course, all these different girls get the power of the Slayer at the end of it. It like spreads the power everywhere, and then she's training like a new generation. It's really great, and what they do with the characters is fascinating, and I loved it. I mean, I felt like it should have been another season, but of course, at that point, the big finale with, of course, they're blowing everything up in the apocalypse. It was fat. I mean, it was interesting to see what happened afterwards, like the fallout of it, and I think they could do that. Now they could forget about all that and just be like, oh, Buffy has a new Slayer, it's modern day. We could do that, but I like the idea of continuing it, pick up where we left off, Now, she hasn't said that's going to happen. Of course, Joss Whedon's not involved. Joss Whedon, would have to be gone. That Trachtenberger stuff is crazy. I can't believe that. Like, Michelle Trachtenberger, what happened with that?
I don't even know what the deal is with that. I just know he's problematic. What
happened with that?
Sure.
We wonder what happened with that. What happened with that when they were shooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Michelle was underage at that point. She played Buffy's sister, right? Apparently, when they were shooting, this came out later because he did the Avengers 2, Avengers 2, and then it came out where Michelle started talking about it. Was when she was a kid, he was very inappropriate towards her, approaching her, saying she looked nice, looks sexy, she looks cute. And it became a thing on set where the ADs were like, in between, we're on walkies, right? We're on set on walkies, and the ADs are like, do make sure that there's never a moment that Michelle is alone with him on set ever.
They're just trying to correct her or to protect her because he was being a creep.
Every time they were together, he was being a creep. And she was
he had the power
15.
Position, so they still had to kind of like kowtow to that while trying to protect her. I mean, kudos to them, but that's fucked up.
Wait a minute. That was a concern.
Yeah, it was a concern.
He wasn't removed. It was just, don't let him be alone with her, but don't remove him.
That's what power does for you. I mean,
he was the showrunner, the creator, the director, and so they didn't remove him because it was a smash hit. It was a smash hit.
Well, it was about money.
Yeah, and so they just put things. What's up, Angela? They just put things in place so that she would be safe, and even Spike was like, I had no idea. A lot of people didn't know, but the AD staff was very quiet about it. But they were always trying to make sure they were alone, because I guess they were alone at one time and it got really creepy. And after that, they were like, we're not letting that happen again. But he is the main person behind this. He did the Avengers movies. Without him, I think it'd be fine. You can figure it out. We have a lot of lore behind this. I just think that you can't have him back. It's problematic, and I think that's fucked up that happened at all. You got to be safe on set.
You can't have him back. I do think, for my personal lore of how this stuff not how this particular instance transpired, but I do think that Joss Whedon kind of jumped off of the ideas that Sam Raimi was working with, which is kind of some kind of cultural satire, which he then worked into an idea of like, okay, let me make satirical jokes, and then rather than like trying to make them good, I will say, okay, the first draft is what stays, and then let me move forward and keep going forward, and then just do crazy dialogue. Like maybe he took a step from Tarantino in that regard. But I do think that very specifically, Joss Whedon led to very much of what was the MC universe, the Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, that kind of comedic
his comedy was great.
Like, it's all over. It's all over that, irrespective of the level of fucking creepiness of the guy, which is challenging to negotiate in one's mind alongside what like he may have added to the cultural milieu. Like I am also happy. Like we can fully reject the mofo at this point. I don't need to hang on to his ass.
Hold on.
No, I don't think so either.
The word milieu.
Fuck yeah, he used mofo. Round of applause for mofo. Trevor.
Mofo.
Let's go to Trevor. Trevor's been quiet. Let's go to Trevor. He's been quiet a little bit. Trevor, I know.
All I'm saying is, Mike, bravo. Trevor.
Trevor, I know, we brought up earlier to you, I was like, about Buffy. There's a lot of drama behind this, regardless if you haven't watched the show. There's a big fan base, right? And she's coming forward saying this after all this time. Do you think the fans are going nuts right now? And do you think that this is going to only spiral, like maybe even, because she's doing Dexter, could it spiral a whole new universe of like spin-offs with this, 2 movies, maybe everything to make Buffy become relevant again in 2025?
I mean, I wouldn't say, like, I think you're putting the cart before the horse a little bit there. But, I definitely, I told you before, I never watched Buffy. You would think that I would have, I was very into, Joss Whedon's other shit, 20 years ago, before we knew how much of an asshole he was, which, extends far beyond, the allegations of inappropriateness with underage. He's just, there's so much shit about this guy. But anyway, I was really into, we already mentioned Firefly, and some of his other stuff, but I really should watch Buffy. I have a lot of friends that are really into it and have been telling me for years to watch it. But anyway, I'm going to say, and this is similar to other things I've said on the show before also, I think the timing is of her comments are pretty telling, because I think Sarah Michelle Gellar is one of the few people from Buffy that has never publicly said anything about Joss Whedon, unless that's changed recently. But the fact that she has for years been doing more Buffy, and now that it's pretty clear that if it happens, Joss won't be involved, now she's like, yeah, maybe I would. I think that's kind of telling that she probably also had issues with him.
That's a good perspective, sir.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Just extrapolating, just a guess. This is all just my own take on what little we have. But no, I think if it does happen, I think a lot of people will be very excited. I think if it, I don't know about a movie, but if something like this happens on TV first, I think people would absolutely watch that. If they start on, we're well, let's just do a 1 season limited thing and see how people respond. I think that'd be a good way to test the waters. Give them 8 or 13 episodes and see what happens. And
that's easy to do.
Up, and fuck yeah, then we'll get a lot more.
Yeah, and keep it going. Honestly, she was so good as Buffy. I'm gonna say I'll be one of those people that telling you, watch Buffy. I'm gonna be one of those people right now. Check it out. It's fun. There's camp there, but there's great stuff. And the musical episode is great. I love musicals. Musical episode was awesome.
The camp is there in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Brian.
Yeah, right, Mike. The camp.
Moving back to hot takes, guys. Jesus Christ.
Before I go back to John, I'm going to say this too. Also, Trevor, it's what you're saying is very fascinating. The fact that she has been saying no, and Joss Whedon's been involved, and now he's nowhere to be seen. All these things came out. It makes it really interesting to see. I mean, maybe it's not just her doing Dexter. Maybe there's more beyond that. But I would say that Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I know I seen the quote in the chat about Angel. Angel was a cliffhanger. They were supposed to do another season of Angel, and that's also a comic. This is me. Here, I'm gonna be Sean tonight. The comic for Angel for the next season is so much fucking better because I read the comics for this shit. For the one time in my life, I've read comics, and the next season of Angel is so fucking good. And I remember because I watched Angel later, and I remember like I read the comics, and then like I was watching it, but I read it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Who the fuck canceled this show right now? Because the next season was so much better. The same thing with Buffy. The next season was so much better. It was into a new universe. Like there was like hell involved. The devil was involved for Angel after that. It was fascinating. But that's how it goes. Give me more Angel. Give me more Buffy. And give me more Jonathan. Jonathan, what are you saying over there?
Here's my thought, and this is a question for everybody on the panel. The chat, you want to jump in, please, by all means. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. No, everybody, Brian. Everybody. Give me everybody. I want to see
you want everybody.
I want everybody. Buffy the Vampire Slayer took place in the 90s.
90s,
right?
Yeah, 90s.
Okay. So if she was, let's say, 18, 19 then?
Yeah.
Her character would be how old now?
18 to look younger.
40.
That was that time. She'd probably be 40, yeah.
40, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
So, she is quoted as saying generally that she originally said, I don't think we need to make this again. It was great, but it's done. Right?
Yeah.
It's over. Well, one of the producers, which really just means the people that forked over money in order to make money from that show, was Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was one of the executive producers in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. Wow. Well, that's true. Look it up. It's in the story Brian sent us. You know, if you read them.
Sorry, I can't read.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Reading?
Here's the Dolly Parton will never, for many reasons, will never go out of style. And right now we're in that day and age where people kind of like to see older folk, older women, or older stars kicking ass. What I think they should do is not worry about bringing back Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy. Like maybe she can have a cameo or two. What I'm saying is make this about, maybe it's Sarah Michelle Gellar's mother, or let's fast forward 50 years into the future. So it's 2050. Dolly Parton is playing the same character, Buffy. That Sarah Michelle Gellar. Whatever, GR. What I'm saying is fast forward. So now this character of Buffy is the same age as Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton is this older woman who's maybe she has a Vegas act or something fun and then has to all over again start fighting this resurgence of vampires that hasn't happened for 50, 60 years, but now she's got to jump back into it. Tell me you wouldn't watch Dolly Parton in her Vegas act outfits killing vampires. Tell me you wouldn't watch that. That's $1 million billion. Yes, you would.
I don't know about GR. I bought my tickets to Branson, Missouri already.
But you see what I'm saying?
Game, set, match.
Really think about that.
I don't even think you need the Buffy branding for that. Just give me Dolly Parton Vampire Slayer. I'm in.
Correct.
I like. Yeah, there you
go. Really
Dolly
think
Parton
about
Vampire Slayer.
Think like
don't think you get Dolly to play that part.
Y'all, she'd do it in a heartbeat if it meant $1 billion. Think like a producer for a second.
$1 billion. That's a lot of money.
For a second. She wouldn't have to do anything she didn't want to do. A lot of it's going to be green screen and AI and whatever anyways. She is one of the hardest working stars in the industry. She works daily. She's in great shape, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, shit. Great shape.
People will tune in, and she is going to be double dipping. It's a double dipping. Let's call it a double D for lack of time.
Is that innuendo right there?
Not at
A
all.
lot of time.
Because it's the same brand that
Well
the
said,
original Buffy worked under, and it's the same executive producer. I'm telling you, that would make money. Sarah Michelle Gellar says in this interview that Buffy's supposed to be a teenager, and I'm no longer a teenager or adolescent or whatever. Great. Let's bring in somebody that everybody recognizes. Everybody, even if you don't know what she looks like, you know the name. Let's bring somebody in we all respect, we all love, we all want to see, but more so, we want to see her kicking vampire ass. That is how producers will make billions from this next thing. It doesn't have to be a whole season. Make it a 4-episode string and we're
Revival. I still love Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's part of my heart, part of my life, part of my thriving.
She could be in it. She could be in it.
GR. Do you agree, Jonathan? You've been very quiet over there, thirsty Dad.
Vomit off screen.
I wouldn't watch that shit. And between you and me, with a sick husband like she has, you're not going to get her to do that.
Dolly Parton?
Yeah. Her husband is in very bad health. And she's not doing a lot of shit she used to do. And I wouldn't watch it anyway, because I think it'd be tracked. I know where you're going from, Jonathan. And
fair enough.
You're right. People, there's going to be a lot of people who would watch it. But sorry, I'd rather have Sarah Michelle than Dolly. And I love Dolly. But let's stay with who's in it already.
Fair enough. I think there's an option there to maybe even have both of them. Maybe Dolly is Sarah Michelle's character, Buffy, and then Buffy has a daughter, whatever. I'm saying whether it's Dolly or Sarah or both of them together, I think.
Or Jonathan and Dolly with Sarah. I mean, I'm going to watch that.
And Rupert Grint.
Rupert Grint.
and what was his name?
We're throwing Chalamet. We're throwing Chalamet with Weird Al Yankovic. You know what I mean? I'm all about that.
Save your dream Pornhub searches for later, guys. Like that's not what Kruse is about.
Calm down. You know, there's no. Hey, Jonathan's thirsting.
You mean this isn't Google?
Yeah, and then Jonathan's saying throwing Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's thirsting for him too. Who knows?
Wait, who's that?
Forget
it, Jonathan.
The girls were thirsting over him. The girls were thirsting for him. But yeah, I will tell you, I saw Queen said, did Buffy have a daughter before we wrap up? From what I remember, there was no daughter, but I think Buffy kind of took in all of the girls as like her kind of children in a lot of ways, because like she was the first Slayer. She wasn't the first Slayer. There was like an original Slayer they talked about before, but she was like the main Slayer that was able to actually like finish this big, orchestrate this big ending for vampires, and then more happens, so she's kind of like the leader that moves forward. I love the Buffy comics. I want to go back and read it again, season 8. I love Angel again too. This is where I dork out a little bit, because this is Ben again. R.I.P. Ben. He got me involved with this, and I love it. If you're gonna watch this, or if you're gonna write this and make this show, read the comics and let's talk later. And let's go into that world.
The comics are always
go
better.
into that. Let's go in that. Xander's awesome. Xander's a little pussy in the show. He's a fucking pussy. In the comics, he's a badass. Bring in Xander the badass. That's what I want. Fuck the pussy. Bring the badass in. Oh, I should have said that out loud. Anyways, everybody.
Yeah, you did.
At least
let's bring everything. Let's bring it all right back to the source. Let's have Sam Raimi do the Buffy reboot.
Please,
dude. Better choice.
Who's a better choice? I like that.
Yep.
Who's the director that did Sin City?
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I would love to see, just go with me, Dolly Parton in that gritty.
Are you obsessed with Dolly Parton?
All right.
You know what?
Robert,
let me tell you, Jonathan.
Dolly Parton, Vampire Hunter. That's where we landed for
I'm just trying to make people rich, and right now you got to go extreme.
that's your job.
And
I kind of renamed the episode Dolly Parton Vampire Hunter. I kind of want to rename it that now.
tell me that you would.
Brian, we're at 2:15 already.
There were no.
I know we're wrapping this ship up. I will tell you this one thing though, Jonathan. Because you've said Dolly Parton so many times before we move on. Dolly Parton, they're doing open casting for Dolly Parton right now for her movie. I was going to talk about it on Friday, but I might as well say it right now. So if you're looking to play Dolly Parton out there, check out the local casting with the link in here too, because they're casting for Dolly Parton's biopic, and Jonathan will be there to help you get into character. I don't know.
You know what? Who's producing it? I'll make a phone call.
We're going to find out very soon. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer is coming. I'm going to say it. It's going to happen. It took a long time for Sarah Michelle Gellar to say that she'd be ever interested in it again. And now it's happening. She's happy about it. She's excited about it. I kind of agree with what Trevor said. I think it's because you know who, Voldemort's not involved anymore. And so now we're going to delve into this new universe again one more time. I'm calling him fucking Voldemort. He's a fucking, he's something. But I love Buffy. I love Buffy, I love Angel, and I want more. Give me more! Give me more.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the Pepestar needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.